Today, you're in for something truly special. Join us as we step inside this gorgeous biophilic design with the visionary and creator himself, Logan Ziegler. Also the principal architect and founder of Skyterra, and this gorgeous masterpiece that we are going to take a look at. Darren, take it away.
Glad she said that because I could not have got all that out. So guys, let's head inside. So today we're really excited because we are launching our architectural series where we're going to be spotlighting architects locally here in the Valley. We find it's really important because as somebody who's grown up here in Las Vegas and I've seen the transition of the custom home market here in the Valley, it's really awesome to see that there's incredible architects here in our Valley. Vegas was never really known for incredible architecture unless you were on the Strip. And now we have these incredible architects that are building these masterpieces off Strip, custom homes, and we get to work with Logan today, and we're going to take you and introduce him to him now. So let's go.
We are also in McDonald Highlands. I don't think we mentioned that. Gorgeous views that surround. So excited to step inside. And here we are with Logan.
Logan, what's up, brother? How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Come on inside. Come on. Show you.
Tell us about this house. So first of all, can you give us some stats on the house, the size, bedroom count, that type of stuff?
So it's 8,100 square feet.
Okay.
But that's the least important statistic, right?
Yeah.
So it's on 2 lots, so that allows us to have that really stretched out horizontal open feel.
Awesome.
And it wraps around, capturing kind of the whole valley from the mountains here, the McCullough Range, the golf course, all the way to the Strip.
Okay.
5 bedrooms, yoga studio, kind of everything you need. But what this house really is just very comfortable. Everyone comes in, they just immediately feel a sense of home.
And that's you and I talked about this the other day. I said people always get a little confused, modern versus contemporary. What would you consider this? Would this be considered like desert modern?
Sure. I mean, it's always subjective, but yeah, this definitely has a contemporary approach. It's very modern in its lines. It's clean. You know, there's nothing decorative per se about it. It's all about an intentional use of material, an intentional use of space, and that is the feature of the home, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed as we come up, obviously you've got your beautiful desert landscaping here. And then I noticed right off the bat, man, this is one of my favorite finishes on a house, is this basalt stone. And so it looks like you wrap this all the way around. It carries through into the inside of the home as well.
This is the primary kind of accent material.
Okay.
The home is really just consistent with dark natural stone, warm natural wood, white oak, and then the kind of white walls or the plaster. So it's smooth stucco that kind of makes the house kind of glow in the sun a little bit.
Yeah.
But then we have this beautiful basalt, and we love it as a connection to the landscape. So the McCullough Range, which we're situated here in McDonald Highlands, is actually made of ancient lava flows. So it is basalt. So this kind of echoes that in a very kind of subtle way. And it's cut in this brick stack, very precise. So it gives it that kind of very intentional feel.
And that's cool, man. That's one of the things that, I thought was so important with us starting this architectural series is sharing what's the inspiration behind the architects when they design these homes. And I know a lot of times you guys take from the surrounding landscape and what's, really kind of designing the home into the area. One of the things I wanted to point out as we come up here that I think is really important with the design, you pointed this out early on, was just how you guys have the setback here. I think this is really important from a privacy standpoint. And then how you created this kind of experience walking into here where it still creates the privacy, but still feels open.
Yeah, absolutely. So we always want to bring like a journey to the entry of the home. So it kind of sets you up. So you come off the street, there's some elevation here, this polished concrete block wall, ties in with the materiality of the home, but also gives you a little bit of privacy. It's about, shoulder height for us here. But then the lines of the home, the angles of the roofs kind of guide you into this protected courtyard under this kind of very comfortable, warm oak ceiling. But it also starts to direct you out towards the Strip. So you start to connect to a bit of the story that will unfold inside the home.
I love it, man.
And is that part of the biophilia that is entwined in this home? Can you explain that?
Yeah, biophilic design is a broad concept, and there's different approaches and ways to incorporate it. Obviously, nature in the space is one, right? Landscape, connecting to natural materials, but other ways that are more abstract, or how we play with light and sun, and even just those subtle things actually create a comforting feel in a home. So coming in under this kind of cozier space creates this sense of comfort and protection. You know, from just where we were walking, it's very sunny now. It's very cool and protected here in the shade. And then being able to see out also gives you a feeling of comfort and safety, being able to kind of see a long distance. So we call that prospect, and you'll see some of that inside the house.
And speaking of that, was this overhang here, was this intentional as far as from a shading standpoint, considering that the home is facing west, so it's going to get that western sun in the summer?
Yeah, the home faces kind of south, southwest. So the entry here where most of the glass is very set back. And as you saw from the front of the house, there's actually very few windows on the front of the house. There's only a couple high ones and all the glass is in the back where it's more shaded.
Awesome, man.
Let's take it inside.
Yeah, let's go inside, take a look.
All right, welcome in.
Wow, it's beautiful. So the one thing I mentioned earlier, coming in, one, you would never think that black would make a home feel so warm, but I think obviously added with the wood finishes, and then the choice of natural stone and everything they've selected really has a great warmth to the house as you come in.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that is like underestimated. You think, oh, black is dark and it's too sleek or something, but when you really pull it in with the natural finishes, there's depth and character to them, and it just allows the space to kind of like sink into itself a little bit, that contrast.
And one of the other things I wanted to point out as we come in is this front door and the glass, because this is, again, something that, I pointed out to you earlier that you don't normally see with a lot of the homes, surprisingly, and this is something that I would have thought more people would think of, but having the tinted windows on the front is really nice because obviously you're getting the shade, but you're getting the privacy without feeling closed in.
Exactly, yeah. So the tint kind of makes it a little more private. Again, we're pulled off the street, elevated, have the courtyard wall, but then we left the upper clear story window clear so you can see this oak ceiling kind of come in. That defines this entry.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. So take us through here. So what was let me ask you first of all, to design a home like this, because everyone, always has that question. Yeah. How long does a home like this typically take to design?
A year is a good timeline.
Okay.
For most custom homes. A bigger, very high detail home could take definitely longer.
Okay.
But a year is a good baseline. If it's less, we don't have the time to get as personal into the details. And then what I think a lot of people maybe don't understand, because the behind the scenes magic is the execution is made in the technical documentation.
Yeah.
So all that creativeness, that we love, the renderings, making it real is where the real magic is. And that timeline does take a few extra months there.
And out of curiosity, what, from original concept to final product, how many variations was there, just out of curiosity?
I mean, there's always many, but the way we describe it to our clients, some people, and they're out there, right? There's different kinds of designers. Some people they just have this vision and it's going to be that, right? It's the round thing. And for us, it's more like a grainy picture. We call it a discovery process. So, it's very personal. We want to get to know the client and really bring out something about them in the home. So there's that process, getting to know them, and then we're just building and layering the detail. So there's a lot of micro iteration. Even once we have the big concept, we're just refining smaller and smaller pieces. As that picture kind of goes from grainy into focus is how we kind of describe the process.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly, and kind of take me through the process if you don't mind, because I found a lot of times when clients were out walking on lots and they were trying to decide what they were going to build, that's usually where they kind of stopped, right? Was because they would get out there in the dirt, they'd see the beautiful views, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, how do we start this process? And I know going through the process with you at one time when I was at Askaya, usually starts with kind of just the massing of the home, right? The layout of the house on the lot before you really start to get into the detail and finishes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it starts with understanding the site, it starts with understanding the client, who they are. What's the site? Where's the sun? Where are the views? Maybe where are the neighbors? Where are the future neighbors going to be? And all that starts to put together how they want to live and how we can live most optimally on the site, take in the views, the sun. And then we start old school, pen and pencil, paper, and we map out how the home is going to live. And that eventually starts to come into multiple dimensions and down to those very fine details of finishes and door handles, appliances.
Do you find yourself a lot of times being involved at the very beginning when the client's actually out looking for a location to build? Do you guys find that they're engaging with you that early?
That's probably where maybe clients are missing the most value, I think, of working with architects. From my experience on the development side too, is sometimes it's hard to really see what might be there and how the lot is really going to lay out. So I see a lot of things where, oh yeah, the view looks amazing, but there's all these contingencies that are hidden, like where the fence needs to be and how far the neighbor actually is going to encroach. And God bless the agents selling the lots, it's got a beautiful view and they're not wrong, but sometimes it's useful, right? If you have someone on your side who can see ahead, who can do a quick layout, who can actually analyze, the wind, the privacy, some of these issues, even cost, feasibility of like, well, you're gonna need all this retaining to really use that lot. So I guess I would say I would wish clients, would bring us in a little earlier because I think we could help them just really make sure they're getting the best lot. Obviously there's lots that are just like, they're perfect. Those ones are obvious to tell.
Good tip for the day.
Yeah, we can unlock some value too, and lots that seem weird. We can help you see how you can really use them.
Okay. So take us through here. Yeah. So
you're in the great room. It is one large open space, but to make it feel more comfortable, more cozy, the ceiling kind of changes to define each area. So we have this kind of built-in dining room with the natural stone table, the glass that flows to the main great room. Again, the basalt stone that goes indoors, outdoors, and really anchors the space. And the clear story window that kind of flows over, making the space feel larger. Kind of a unique layout for most kitchens you see in Vegas is this corner wraparound kitchen. And we positioned it here. A lot of people say kitchen's heart of the home, but we wanted it to be right on the hinge. So as we mentioned, the home really wraps around the valley. And these windows, as you kind of move through here, you go from the canyon to the golf course, the eastern mountains where the sun rises, to the strip, and then all the way back to Red Rock.
So beautiful. And I love how the black just makes everything kind of disappear.
Absolutely. Your eyes just kind of flows right out over it. But then as you look closer, right, we were talking earlier, the kind of leathered quartzite, it actually
this is beautiful. Yeah.
A sensory effect. It's tactile. It's not just slick. It's actually three-dimensional.
And I like that it's not shiny, right? Like a typical polished countertop or something like that. I love
It feels very natural.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Very nice.
And I love that little prep area. I actually thought that was a mirror.
Simple prep area. I'll pop back here as you can see. Just easy living, open concept. That was what was right for this client. He's very clean and minimal. So we have coffee back here, and then we have a little peekaboo moment to the strip as well.
And you did that so well throughout the house, those little peekaboo moments.
Yeah, thank you. We like those little surprises. They just kind of give you different perceptions of space as you walk through.
All wolf appliances all through.
Yep, of course.
Yeah, beautiful cabinet. Is this a metal, the cabinetry?
This is just like a soft touch laminate. So
really cool, yeah.
And that's kind of the next level, right? Those fine details is like, what do things feel like? And that actually gets into Biophilic, the sensory effect of things. Not just what does it look like, but what does it feel?
Something I noticed also on the new window systems that you're using, traditionally I found in a lot of these homes, you had more like storefront type windows with the thick frames all the way around, which in my opinion, I felt like it obstructed some of the view. I love how now these have this really thin line, thin reveal all the way around the frame. Just really makes it open up even that much more.
Yeah, this is all from a domestic company called Awake Windows and Doors, and they're a really great group. We love them because they're always game for something custom. But they make a thin aluminum product right over in Arizona, and they can do huge sizes. I mean, this door is, now it's becoming common, but this is 12 foot tall.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't feel that tall. But they can get these down, and you'll see in the next room all the way down to 3/4 of an inch.
Awesome. And then where do you get your inspiration from in the beginning when you're starting a design like this? Is it left up to you from the homeowner? Does the homeowner play a lot into that as far as the inspiration, or does it just kind of vary? Some people say, Logan, you go with it, you run, and some want to be a little bit more involved.
There's definitely differences of involvement. Everyone's a little different. But oftentimes someone has seen something somewhere. So they usually have some imagery, and we dive into that. I mean, we really look at it closely, and we print it all out because there's usually just one small thing in there that they're attracted to. So we go through, what do you like in this image? Like, oh, it's just the stone, or maybe it's the lighting, or maybe it's the whole thing. But we dive into their inspiration. So for us, it's really the client. We need to understand them, and then our goal is to just add on to that, right? So our best thing is when people feel like, wow, like you understand us. When we hear that, then they like, you're making it more than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
That's like the most rewarding thing.
I was just saying, because it could be a very emotional experience building a custom home.
It's very personal, and we really try to make it that way. So it's about the client. So our tagline is "Live like no one else," and so you can live truly like you want to live.
Yeah, no, it's just great. And so what room is this here that we're in now?
This is another living room, so it's just a little cozier space. But this one's positioned here because we have the strip view out over kind of Dragon Rock, the ridge right there. And this has that really thin glass product on a multi-slide door, another fireplace, the natural stone as well.
I was going to ask that material as well as the...
Yeah, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is a granite, but it's really interesting because it has this kind of like flake, almost metallic look to it.
Yeah.
But again, it brings in that just dark, natural tone.
Also, like, I mean, just all the different like dimensions, right? Like the way it's set back, the lighting behind it. You've got the cove up there. All that's all set back. It just really makes the room. I guess I'd call it, so it doesn't feel boring, right? Like it's got a, it's not just a box. It's got a really cool vibe to it. That's awesome.
Those dark spaces, we call them positive and negative spaces. So it just allows your eye to kind of sink into these voids, if you will.
Yeah.
And it gives the room depth without really having to put a lot of detail or, kind of forced decoration.
Over the top.
Yeah. Awesome. Where do you want to take us next?
Yeah, we can go to the primary suite.
Okay.
And talk about some details here. Obviously, the infinity pool that kind of really grounds the whole width of the home.
And this house really lives as like a single story. So you've got your main primary on the main floor
everything
here.
you need is upstairs.
Okay.
And then one of the things I always love to point out too, that if you can catch it, is when you're looking at this basalt, it looks honed, matte, if you will. But when you get on angle, it's a mirror. Oh. It's just a very weird trick of the material. Just these dynamic perceptions. You can see the pool reflect off of it. And we're always playing with that in material, in space, because you get different, it just kind of fills in your peripheral vision with interesting effects of your home. It's kind of a little vestibule here for kind of a casual office space, reading room, the see-through fireplace, and welcomes you into the primary suite.
This is a great lot too. It feels like you're just...
Yeah, you said this is a double lot here? You got 2 lots here?
This is 2 lots.
Wow.
Exactly. So there's a little over a half acre, I'm assuming?
This is, yes, it's a little over, per each lot, it's over an acre combined.
Oh, it's over an acre combined.
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of space beyond the pool here.
Okay. And I love the way this pool just carries out, man.
This is like one of my favorite parts of this home is just how it extends and you just have panoramic views.
That's the crazy thing too. We've always noticed is that where the design is so important is the fact that, you can walk into a house that's 8,000 square feet and it can feel really small. And you can walk into a house, because I would have thought this house was a lot bigger than 8,000 square feet. But just because the way that it's designed, its openness, everything makes it feel so much larger.
Yeah.
But yet still very comfortable and cozy as well.
Just had a group here and the same thing. They're like, oh, it feels much larger than that.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly on one level.
Yeah.
And this room was positioned here really to capture the sunrises, of course, look out over the pool.
Yeah.
And then
that's beautiful out there in the morning.
On the floor plan, and then the architecture, the lines of it kind of just lead your eye straight out down towards the city.
Wow, this is really cool. And then I love how you did this. You've got all the pockets built in for the shades and everything already.
Yeah, all the lines really connect to something,
Nice pocket doors. This is cool.
Yeah. Pocket door, so you have the door when you need it, but when it's not there, the space just flows easy. That's,
And is this porcelain tile, Logan?
Yeah, this is a large format porcelain.
It's beautiful.
I love all the cabinetry space and how it's tucked
Wraparound
in. Yeah.
theme. It really is a theme in this house because And as you talk about like some of the inspiration, it's just how do we respond to the site? So, that's where the views are. So we have these kind of more private, kind of just natural canyon views that we reflect into the mirror. So the mirror goes right up to the windows here.
Great views of the golf course. Man, that's beautiful.
Yep, and it allows you to kind of just look straight out over the pool, and the other direction takes you to an outdoor shower and a kind of shower room.
And again, is this all basalt here as well?
This one is not. This is
it's
actually a large format porcelain slab.
Oh, okay. But it has the feel of that same...
it has that flamed kind of dark black feel. It's very cool. Again, just
And this closet looks like a retail store. Right. It's beautiful.
Yeah, Mike's pretty organized. The owner here is pretty organized.
Yeah. And you've got all white oak cabinetry again, and
yeah, this just flows through. And again, we kind of always try to end a space in something interesting or a moment of light or a view outside, constantly connecting you to nature.
yeah,
That's kind of part of the idea behind biophilia, the main core principle. So even back here, we're getting a little bit of natural.
I love how you've got the window in here too to get the natural light in here. That's awesome.
You're not like in a box. You're really exposed still to those views.
All right. Where do you want to take us next?
Yeah, we should head into the basement.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is there anything particularly trending that you're seeing in the design and architecture world?
It's a good question. We try to stay away from trends and try to be true to what feels right for the client and for the lot and how we connect to the place at hand. But what I am seeing, at least in our market, is people are asking for things that are more natural, more organic, and a little softer too. We're having clients who are like, oh, I want something that's not as boxy maybe, right? Not as straight lined. People even interested in tile roofs and stuff again a little bit. So
Can you talk a little bit more of the traditional feel?
yeah, bringing in some of that, like a little bit more of that detail. You're starting to see like thin frame shaker cabinets come back, things like this, which I think is actually nice. I think there's a really nice opportunity to still bring a modern feel to that that still feels very inviting. I think that's the word. A lot of people are asking for comfortable, inviting, soft.
And then all white oak here on the wood that was used,
white
the
oak
trim.
stairs, the slats that come down and kind of form the railing. Then this is a simple kind of multi-purpose entertainment space. This would be the owners kind of hang out, watch the game space.
Yeah, this is great, man. The cool thing I love about this too is the way that it's designed. I mean, really great space if you have guests staying with you, where you still have your own living space. And I love how they design the primary, or where you design the primary and where it's at on the complete other side. So you're not really getting disrupted by anybody if you have guests staying with you. So
exactly. Yeah. 2 guest rooms down here, a gym as well. And this space is kind of all grounded by this long black wall that goes out to a walkout little courtyard.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool too with the concrete.
I love that.
The way that's tied in. So it's got like that little bit of an industrial feel to it, but the home still, I mean, honestly, man, this is one of the most beautiful homes I've been in. It really feels like something you would see in a magazine. Like I'm even when I was standing here earlier and I'm like looking down this hall with this tree here in the background and everything, it's just absolutely beautiful.
It's unique. You don't see anything like this. It's one of a kind.
And then it's pretty practical in a sense, like the concrete was the basement wall, and we just chose to expose it in thoughtful ways and detail it. You'll see a peek to the yoga studio there. And then the concrete here, we really made a feature. There's very few hallways in this home, which is part of, I think, what makes it feel larger. You're never kind of trapped in this maze.
I didn't really notice that, yeah.
We've opened the corner with this big window and then focused your attention to this concrete wall, kind of accented by the pebbles, and then these little black mirrors that make the concrete flow.
I was just going to point out, even the little details you did like this just really helps it carry through. And yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I mean, check out this little primary suite. It's just a nice use of space.
Yeah.
It's our secondary bedroom. Very hotel style, open concept bathroom, but we've did the room 2-tone with this soffit detail that all the shades are split into, just to really make the view focus on the horizon here.
Awesome. Yeah, and one of the things too I pointed out earlier I thought this was really unique what they did with the shower door. I sold shower doors for years.
Yeah.
I've been in 1,000 homes, and why nobody has ever thought of using a tinted glass for their shower, because honestly, most time you go into a home and you're looking at all the stuff that's in that shower, right? You're looking at the soaps and the brushes and all that stuff. So it's really nice because it still helps it feel super clean and organized, adds to the warmth of it, but also doesn't make you feel like you're enclosed in there, and you can still get the use of the door with the steam and stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely. And in that one, there's a little window in there that actually connects to a big architectural line that you would see if you're out on a golf course. So, it all ties together. And that's one of those things, though, that's really unique. Like this client, he didn't want big glass shower boxes. So every room has a tiled in shower room that's more cozy and feels like a little spa shower. And, so that was part of something, he wanted functionally that we turned into part of the design in every single bathroom.
I really love that. All right, well, let's go upstairs and check out the pool.
Yeah, as we walk back that way, just kind of talking more about the secondary bathrooms, also kind of unique. A lot of times you see just a smaller bathroom, smaller walk-in closet, but we took that space and combined it into one.
Okay.
So every bathroom has a unique combination of built-in millwork, countertop vanity, walk-in water closet. Just makes it feel more rich and detailed.
Yeah.
It uses the same amount of space, but in a more impactful way.
Got it. That's really nice.
Little important things too, just in the materialities. So the treads are white oak, the slats are white oak, and so are the flooring. But we worked with the vendor to source all of it from the same source. So
wow.
Even though they're different applications, the color tone is consistent.
Wow.
The grain is consistent. And those are those extra little touches that just take some extra care.
And I think that's the important part of understanding what an architect does, right? Like, it's not only just the outside. I think the assumption is from most people that it's just the exterior of the home and how it looks, but it carries all the way through to the interior.
Yeah, there is that perception. And we talk about architecture is the entirety of it. It's hard to say. Every people have a perception, but we think of architecture, it's one thing.
Yeah.
We do the interiors as well. That piece tends to be more the finishes and fixtures, but the whole feel has to be, in my opinion, one concept.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's head outside and check out this great backyard. Looks like the winds have finally died down, so
A little bit.
it's a good time to check it out.
Wow.
All right. Wow. This is beautiful.
Now this is expansive views.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is really cool. I love how you designed this because you literally feel like you're floating up here when you're standing out here. Yeah.
It's one of the things I think is most unique about this lot is you really do feel like you're super elevated and floating. It's very private. And the whole outdoor space truly wraps around capturing, almost 270-degree views.
And I love how you even see through those windows in the mountains.
Yeah, those are
Very
subtle things.
intentional.
They are actually at night, the city lights up and this becomes a more dissolved corner. So it does allow you to capture that city view even from where we're standing or further back.
So, something I'm noticing also with the pool, I'm assuming this was part of your design, is that typically, a lot of times when houses are designed, I've found surprisingly, the pool ends up being shaded all day long and people don't want to get in the pool because it's too cold. But it looks like, the way you're designed here with your overhangs, you've got all this shade, but still get natural light to the inside of the home. But it's almost like a perfect line. Right. Your pool is getting direct sunlight.
Yeah, no, one of the things that just, this is where the house is sited and those things that are important. So this house has very deep overhangs all the way around. So tons of shade. And then the sun most of the day is behind the home or in the front of the home rather. So you get this beautiful casted shadow and then the pool just lights up and really draws your eye from inside as well as functionally for swimming and hanging out. It's a great spot.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Take us over to this kitchen, man. This is an incredible outdoor kitchen.
Yeah, this is the outdoor living room. There's still some details being finished, but again, just like the inside kitchen, it's on the kind of most precious spot of the lot, right at the hinge, right where the strip view and the valley wraps around it. So we brought the cover out. We have a built-in outdoor kitchen island, TVs that'll go over here. And then we purposely angled the architecture precisely so it lines up with the strip view, so it makes it feel like the view is just framed perfectly.
Yeah, this is perfect, man. And the one thing I always like to point out that people never expect here in Las Vegas are the beautiful mountains all the way around.
All the way.
And especially this time of year when you've got Mount Charleston that's snow-capped. Yeah.
Yeah, you see all the way, to the past, was that South Point out there.
Yeah.
So you really capture, this is a great spot. Catch the sunset.
Absolutely beautiful. Wow.
And greatly positioned from every angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything kind of connects, and then the same lines that draw you out here also draw you back towards the canyon. And I love this view maybe almost more because when you look that way across the pool, it just feels like you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You're just in the middle of the mountains.
Something I'm noticing too that I think is cool is that usually when you're in your backyard, you kind of feel closed off from everybody on the inside, right? And I love how you did this here with the windows on this, because you could be out here hanging out and still see all your family and friends inside, and you don't feel like you're separated. You've done a really good job with the design that you've got all these separate spaces, but it still feels all one and like you're still included with everyone.
Yeah, everything kind of connects together on these like big verandas, which is really nice.
Yeah. Well, this is great, man. Well, we've enjoyed the tour today.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, this was fantastic. We really enjoyed touring the home. And I just wanted to say thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for taking on as a tour. Guys, if you get a chance, Logan, do you want to share your website?
Yeah, it's Skyterra.design. Real easy.
All right. So guys, if you're looking for a great architect here in Las Vegas, looking to design your home, make sure you reach out to Logan. And obviously you can see the beautiful work that he's done, and he can create something special for you as well.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.